Hello everybody, welcome back with the Premium Spotlight with you, Rosgrews Gaming here. And I know we're doing a lot of premiums. I know that, guys. I know 100% we're doing a lot of premiums. But we can't stop this. There's so many premiums in this game right now that's just been added. And this is another one. The Tier 5 Genova. And I'm saying, if you don't want to watch them, then you're going to have to get used to it, because there's going to be a lot of these coming out for quite a bit. There's also probably 2 more after the fact after this that we're still currently working on. So make sure you guys hit the bell icon and make sure you like and subscribe for the next following 2 that will be coming up. So, Tier 5 Genova. This is going to be the most, I would say, probably the second ugliest video I've ever going to do for a premium that's come out in the recent year for World of Warship and the Premium Spotlight. It's not going to be friendly. It's not going to be nice. I'm going to be very critical. And Wargaming is not going to like probably my comments on this as well,
because I'm only a small YouTuber and Wargaming doesn't know and won't even care who I am.
And probably everybody in this room is probably not going to 100% like my comments on it too. So let's get on to it, to the armor and firepower and the whole 9 yards. Let's do this. Okay, folks, so let's get into the firepower with Genova. So you have 4 twin gun 203mm, 12 single 102mm guns, range of 14.3. You have 4 twin, 2 twins on each side. Reload of those is these torpedo tubes is 47 seconds. And you have a damage of those is 906. Torpedo range is 8 kilometers, 1 kilometer to torpedo detect. So they're pretty quick reloading, and they're also French style, so you get this front firing style for torpedoes. Not bad. Remember, 8 kilometers, and they are 51 knot speed, so they're not fast, but they can do some damage when you're really getting into close quarters, or if you're trying to kite back or try to get in a position to aerial deny some positions along the way. Now back to the guns. Yeah, who gives a crap about your secondaries? Now, the secondaries are high explosive, actually, so that is going to cause fires. So let me point that out to you. But really, they're secondaries. You don't have control of them. But back to the main battery guns. This is where this gets interesting. Like I said, you have 4 of these twin 203mm. You have a damage of 4,150 with the SAP rounds. Yes, SAP, for anybody who doesn't have or touched the Italians yet, you don't have high explosive. SAP means semi-armor piercing, which means only a certain amount of armor does it hit and penetrate to cause initial damage. If it doesn't, it will just bounce off the target. Kind of like the high explosive doesn't do any damage, but it does fire damage. This doesn't do fire damage. It just does penetration damage and causes explosive damage, like an armor piercing round. However, it has to penetrate the target. Number 2, you do have armor piercing here, and it is 4,700 damage. Like I said before, it is 14.3 kilometer range, 840 meters a second, both types of shell. It's the same shell, really, so it doesn't really matter between the 2 types from the ballistics capability. Your maximum dispersion is 122 meters, and this is where things get interesting. Now, your SAP armor penetration with the 203s here is 54 millimeters. So that means on semi to heavier armor type cruisers in the game at tier 5 up to, I think, tier 6 you might deal with. You will bump into tier 7s with this, because whenever it's a tier 5, you will go up 2 tiers. And you will be able to hit a lot of those targets. But here's the problem with this thing, and this is why I say the worst for last. 23.4 seconds to rotate the turrets, which is not bad, but not great. But they are understandable for 203. What really kills you. What really makes this ship a tough selling point for a lot of players, and why I really didn't like this ship when it came out, is the reload. 20 seconds to reload the main battery guns in this thing. And you've seen it right now. It is absolutely painful. And that because of that, and a lot of other ships like even Mielbrotin and a lot of the other cruisers, their reloads like maybe 13, 14 seconds. Some are even shorter than that. And because of that, you're having to play a tier 5 with one of those slowest reloads in the game. And it causes your damage per minute to go way down. Your damage for your shells are potent, but that doesn't mean anything if you don't have enough shells coming out in this thing. So let's get on top of that with the armor, just to give you guys the nice bow, what I'm going to talk about in later portions of this video. Okay guys, so now let's talk about the armor with this ship, the Genova. So first, your survivability, you have 30,100 hit points with a torpedo protection of 13%, which is very close to a tier 6 cruiser, which is a plus with this ship because you're going to need every hit point you can damn get. And on top of that, with the torpedo protection being 13%, that's most and most. Like, Emerald doesn't even have any torpedo protection, so it definitely is, thankfully, added to this ship. However, its armor isn't so forgiving. You have 13mm plating on fronts and rears. Your main structure in the middle, where the guns are located all, is 16mm. So really, you're not going to be having a lot of fun with those pencil-thin armors. And then your citadel is exposed, and on the front and rears, it is 40 in the lower part, 60 in the topper part of the plate, and your side plating is 70mm thick, which means it's very pencil-thin. Low caliber type shells with decent penetration can actually do some severe damage and nuke this ship from full health. So this thing isn't for close quarters. This is very much a go and be a kiting scumbag ship. So yeah, it's not looking good for this ship, and it's proven the point right here. On top of that, it's because of this armor, you really can't deal with aircraft very well. If there's a decently good set of bombs coming in on you, you might get deleted pretty badly there. You're not going to get deleted. There's no way. There's no armor-piercing type bomb that's actually going to do that kind of full damage. But it is going to be very deadly because remember, it's only 50mm on the top plate of the Citadel, and then an additional 16mm. So it's very thin, and if it's a decently good targeted by a very seasoned vet, just CO clubbing, he's going to go and get you pretty good. Alright, so let's now go over now the entire ship and give you guys a full review. Shall we? Alright, so let's review this thing in a nice big bow now for everybody here. So, Genova to me is one of the most headache-inducing cruisers I've ever seen at the low tier 5. And that's coming from Exeter, which was a unique ship in its time for being one of the first real cruisers we had for the British line that was a heavy caliber type gun. And that would be rightfully so for this Genova style with the tier 5. But it was also a time when Genova was come out to the game just to introduce everybody basically, here's SAP rails, now get used to it. And I feel like they really could have done this a lot better. The reload is what really kills you with this ship. And on top of that, with a concealment of 10.3 and its air detect of 7.5, it makes it even more of a headache. Now, you don't even have the gun smoke capabilities of the other tiers that are in this game. Which, yes, if you fire and smoke is 6.6, so if a destroyer wants to help you out with that, feel free. And you guys can clearly see in the gameplay, like, one rogue hit with an AP round at the right place at the right time is going to nuke your ship from full health to nothing. It just feels so freaking headache-inducing. Yes, I could kite better, but really, it comes down to being a very cumbersome ship. 36.2 knot speed. If you put the speed flag on, an 8.6 second turning circle with 660 meters, the maneuverability is not too terrible, but it's not great either. You feel kind of, I don't know, you feel like you're trying to be like a Hiragumo kind of thing. You got this very big style cruiser who's trying to make these very shaky turns to juke targets, and you can juke them, but you can only juke for so much. And eventually they're going to hit you and take out your rudder or take out your engine, and you get it. And I've gotten it multiple times. I had one match where I had 3 times my rudder was taken out, and I don't even put survivability or any of that kind of stuff to build it because it's not even worth the time. It's gonna happen. You're gonna have an engine taken out or a freaking rudder taken out, and it just gives you a bloody headache. So overall, this ship, it's not great. For me, it's definitely not the best tier 5 that they've again put in the game. I've seen tier 5s that are premiums in this game that are a lot better. Hell, I prefer a Krispy Kreme over this ship, and that's even more of a headache. Hell, Murmansk is a better ship, and that's that's circa Omaha, but Russian style. Anyway, for captain's builds, guys, I would recommend Expert Loader, so you can switch from SAP to AP very quickly. Expert Marksman, really Superintendent, as always, so you get an extra scout plane, because you can put a scout plane in this, and you can actually buff it up even more, your gun range. Which you're going to need that. You're going to want you firing at further ranges when necessary. On top of that, I would recommend, of course, Concealment Expert. For my other modules, I would pick Adrenaline Rush. I would also put on, I guess if you're using this shift specifically to maybe troll some people, maybe Survival Expert to increase that health pool you have. And probably Jack of all trades or something like that, because really what you're going to try to focus on is trying to be as more survivable as you can. Try to duke as much and just try not to take as so many hits. But really, this ship overall is definitely just one massive migraine for warship players. If you really don't need a commander trainer, though, for the Italian line and kind of deal with it at the lower tiers, feel free. But there are better ships in the Italian line that are non-premium that so far I've been playing, because I'm already at tier 8, that are way better. The tier 8 is fantastic, the tier 7 is okay, the tier 6 is okay, but the lower tiers, including this one, are just somewhat of a headache. So, overall, Genova, what were you thinking, Wargaming? Don't do this again, please. The reload for a cruiser like this has to have something a little more spicier than this. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed it. As always, take care. I hope to see you all on the high seas.